my friends, I'm happy to introduce you to my new module, and it's gonna be their drawing class. Today we're gonna draw with our pastels. I have the same concept as the painting. I only use the main colors and black and white. So what we're gonna do today, we're gonna work on trees. I'm gonna teach you how to start your drawing, because sometimes when you just start, you always start from the top of the tree and you basically doesn't have place to grow for these trees. They just fall off from your paper down and doesn't have their beautiful character, which is every tree has. I want to show you a few pictures of trees just to get your inspiration going. This is, for instance, the tree might grow somewhere in Oregon where it's really wet during the winter. It has a lot of moss around. I have interesting tree right here somewhere, maybe in California, and it looks interesting because it has the main branch, and this branch it's kind of almost lying down close to the surface. Of course, if you see palm trees, you always think about the paradise, a beautiful Hawaiian vacation, or a beautiful sunset somewhere in Caribbean islands. So this palm trees has unforgettable and unique shape that's kind of embraced in everybody's memories, connected to the very fun time. I think there's also some other trees deserve attention. There's interesting, very looks like a pyramids long trees, and they are here look like they're just gathered for some meeting in the middle of the field. I also have pictures of some lonely standing trees. Sometimes you can see them on some rocky hill or mountains by the ocean. This interesting shape of the tree created by nature and winds, and that fight which is tree trunk has with that part of the mountain, so that he can actually have enough support to survive. This is probably the willow tree, which is grow by the always by the river or some pond, because it's like to be hydrated a lot. And this is the winter picture, because of course in a different climates the trees looks different when the snow falls, and that interesting Christmas trees they all covered with the snow, which create really pretty picture usually. I have some trees on this side, and it's just interesting branches lie out on this one, and this one might be the oak trees. The oak trees usually have very interesting branch structure. This is another palm tree, but a little bit different. You can always recognize the palm tree by the interesting layout of that branches it has. And this is another interesting tree, probably alder, and it has the white trunk. So most of the trunks are usually black or brown, and this one of the tree which just has the lighter trunk. So this is it for the inspiration, and I'm just gonna start with my black crayons or pastel, whatever you have for you to use, and what it's easy for you to start, because sometimes pastel can get a little bit messy, so your fingers will be a little bit dirty. So, but that's okay, it's washable and it's totally doesn't contain any chemicals, so it's healthy to use it. So this is my paper for today. I have the same paper as I used before, but I'm gonna put it in a vertical shape, so it will be easy for me to put the tree on it, so create my unique shape for the tree. And I will start from the trunk. When I start from drawing my tree, I'm gonna grow this tree from the roots. So for that, I will kind of fix first on my line of the layout on the surface of where that tree will grow. So I don't want that tree grows to the bottom of my picture. I want to leave a little bit of room just for this tree to breathe on my picture. And so when I do that, I kind of just line out like a horizon line before we do it for the sunset. Same way I will line out my horizon line for this tree. But it's not really a horizon, it's just a part of the surface where the tree grows. And I will make just tree from my memory, and it's not about the trees brand. I just want to use the tree as example how to start work on your tree, and that can be any kind of tree, any different tree, just something from my top of my head. So I'm gonna start with the branch, and I will grow my tree from the bottom to the thinner branches on the top, because that's the trunk right here, and that's the branches comes out from this trunk. So they all will be different, and I will try to make an interesting rhythm. And then I remember when we were talking about rhythm, that the rhythm in the composition is similar as the rhythm in songs or speech, and we're gonna put our branches in a kind of interesting layout, so they will create the nice shape of the tree and pleasant to look at. So, and usually branches get a little bit thicker by the trunk area, and they get thinner when they grow up to the sunshine, because that's their growing part. They're not done yet. So I put the little bit thicker trunk right here and a little bit thinner one on this side, so we just create some rhythm on that. I will have like a half trunk here, so something happens, maybe wings it get broken, so but it's still here, so it will be one. And I also will start on one right here, and maybe some over here, so they kind of create the rhythm, one on another side, one on the other side, and so that they don't mix up with each other, because we want to have a very clean picture for us to learn how the structure of the tree works. So, and of course we need some branches. Even on these branches, they kind of divided and split on smaller branches. Some of them can go on the side, some of them grow closer to the top of the trees, some can lean toward to the surface. So this is my tree branches. And now when I have my sketch, I just think that I can show that as more trees are growing behind that tree, because it's not going to be tree in the field, it's going to be the part of the maybe forest, so that I can put the tree but farther, and then I will use the smaller features for that tree. So I'm just gonna, it's all good for your practice, so you can totally create the different character for this tree. So for instance, I will have some tree growing behind that, but have like a more pointy shape. So this the tree branches will go close to the sky, not lean toward to the surface. So this is gonna be some tree more looks like a round one. And then I will have maybe some Christmas tree here, something with the needles, the smaller one right here. Usually this kind of trees have a kind of tendency to be more triangle, like a long extended triangle, almost like a conus, just like that. So this is my sketch for today, and then I will start with the sky. And for the sky, I'm going to use my blue crayons or pastel chalk, and I'm gonna use the different type of technique during my sky right now. I'm gonna put it horizontally and just try to use the surface, the side surface of my pastel chalk. Just like that. And then I use a little bit of white just to mix that together, because with colors you mix them together. With pastel you just use another one over, and then it creates that interesting shade which is you like, or it might be created by accident. By usually you kind of put a little bit of knowledge of mix before you mix them like that, so you need to kind of anticipate what color it's gonna be after. So what I do, I just put a little bit of white over that blue to create some sort of sky, because the sky this time for us not the main character, we just use it for background for the tree. And then I'm gonna use my brown in this pastel and Creoles. I do have a brown, because in colors to mix the brown, it's not that hard, because we use the brown to create the brown. We use a little bit of yellow and black and red and maybe tiny bit of blue. Here we already have the one which is made for us, so I'm gonna use it for the trunk. And I will start with kind of very intensive drawing, so I need more color for the bottom of this trunk. And again, we go by the way how this tree growing. So it's close to the roots right here, and we can even kind of show a little bit of roots going into the surface like that. And then we go with the sketch we create. So if you mixed up a little bit, that's okay. So the branch can be just a little bit farther or closer to what you're starting in the beginning. It's okay. So it's still gonna have the same kind of proportions. Proportions, it's a different word to give the characteristic to your rhythm and drawing, because the proportions for the picture, they showing how the things are compared to the other ones, how they lay out and how they work. So for us, important to deliver the right proportions of this tree. As we spoke before, the tree has the bigger branches, trunks, and the branches drawing from it. So they grow from the big trunks and spread and become smaller. So that concept we use for proportion of our tree. So it has the right proportions. That's important. Otherwise, it's gonna be a little bit funny looking. If you're doing the cartoon, for instance, it's okay. But if you're trying to create the tree, which is you can see in nature, that's gonna be important to have a right proportion for the tree. So make sure that when you work with your brown color, that you go for the right proportions of your branches. That's what I do right now. I'm creating the branches, and I split them and create the smaller branches according by the proportion of the tree, because I have in my head already image of my tree, and then I follow that image. So creating the interesting shapes followed by the rhythm of the tree, because tree has the rhythm in it. So the way how the branches lie out, this is the interesting rhythm which is nature created. for the convenience of this tree, because the branches don't overgrow on each other. They have the nice breaks between each other, and that's let them be, lets them grow and lets them have more branches on it, and that's create the unique shape of the tree. And every different brand of the tree, type of the tree, has that unique shape. They're all different. Every tree is different, like people or animals, but it still has the collective shape, which is only belong to that particular brand of the tree. So that's what we do. We do follow this really interesting shape, and my tree gonna go and grow over on the top, so I'm not gonna finish it. It's kind of like growing closer to the top of the sky, I guess, but we still gonna use some blue for the sky between the branches, just to show that the sky is present there. So I want to get a little bit more blue right now and kind of go over a little bit between the branches with the blue, just to give some hint that the tree growing somewhere in nature and has the sky behind it. So chalk is falling down usually on the bottom of your easel. So if you don't have an easel, just be careful, don't get dirty with that charcoal, or put something which is gonna prevent that from falling on your clothes. If you don't want this clothes to be spoiled, it's all washable, but still, maybe you don't want to put it in the laundry right away after the lesson. So this is my sky for now, and I will work on my other tree right now. So I will use my brown color for the other tree trunk right here, but I'm not gonna really push on this hard, because with intensity how you push on your Crayola or a pastel chalk, that's how intense your color becomes. So I'm gonna kind of get my tree drawn with the light strokes of my charcoal pencil, just to give a little hint of how the layout will be, like that. And this is farther tree. So this is the simple perspective. We were talking about this before. That's the old objects closer to horizons, they become smaller and lighter. That's how on 2Ds of your picture you're trying to break that kind of the first and second layers and third layers of your organized pictures. So and then you make your picture looks like it can be in reality, in nature. So that's my idea about this. So I'm gonna put some leaves on my tree, and leaves I'm gonna use already a prepared green color for that. And I'm not gonna draw every piece of leaf with my charcoal. I'm just gonna make the shape of the tree crown. So I'm gonna start, my tree gonna have a little bit more roundy shape, has tendency to be round. And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go around my branches on the top and put the mass of leaves on it. Basically like you're putting a hat on the top of the head of this tree. So it's a hat on the top of the branches, and that's create your leaves mass. Because it's farther away, you're not gonna see every leaf on that. So that's why I'm just using the shape of this tree just for the background for our bigger tree. And for this Christmas tree over here, I'm gonna use first the dark blue color. And just to come around my sketch with the intense lining of this blue color. And create the shape of the Christmas tree. First of all, that was the dark blue. So now I'm gonna use yellow to get some highlights on this tree. And if you remember blue and yellow together, they create the green. And that's what we're doing. But we're not mixing them as we did in a painting. We just put the yellow color over the blue. And that's create this light green. But it's intense. It's not like this. It's more intense because we have underneath that yellow, we have dark blue, which is actually give us that intensity of color. It makes it more vivid color. So, and then we're gonna have a little trunk under all this crown. So that's our Christmas tree. You can show the trunk a little bit among the tree branches. And that's our Christmas tree. And then I want to show you how to create the leaves structure on my main tree, this one. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use my green Crayola or pastel chalk and start like we did before with the field of flowers. I will start putting some dots on my tree, the green dots, because that's gonna be my leaves. But I'm not like really worried about the shape of this dot, because this is just showing us that the tree has leaves. And we're gonna use a yellow too and blue to create the variety of colors on this leaves. That leaves are growing on this tree and they are closer to us. So we can't just like here we went with the crown, the whole crown like a head on a tree. We just need to show that because this tree is closer to us, we have to show that actually this tree has some leaves on that, and they will be, because it's closer, they will be like more visible than compared with the other one. And I'll just use some yellow on that because depends on how the light comes on this tree. Some leaves can be a little bit lighter, some can be a little bit darker, some of them has shade on it from the different leaves or from branches. So this is gonna be my leaves on this tree, and I also highlight them with a little bit of dark blue. The good thing about pastel or Crayolas chalks that you can use them as the pencils, but you also use them when you put them horizontal like that. You can use them with the whole surface to cover the bigger parts of your work, which is basically you can't do with the color pencil or any kind of pencil. That's pastel and this much more interesting. So now I want to stop with that. I just want to put some grass over here on my surface that's gonna show that it's a part of the forest. And I also gonna make some, because that's gonna be some hills there, gonna make some hills, especially when we already know how to do hills. I'm gonna have some hills, and I'm gonna have some road goes on top of this hill. Like that. And maybe on the bottom, very bottom of this hill, I'm just gonna put some more Christmas trees over here. So this is not the one, it has more, but they're really, really far away. So I'm gonna make them stand together as on this picture. They're just gonna be together like a group of people for the meeting, remember? So that's what I'm gonna do. They will be kind of similar size. Some of them can be a little bit taller, some of them will be a little bit shorter. Speaking of the rhythm again, because you don't want to have the boring picture. Rhythm make it unique and interesting to look at. So this is my layer of the trees growing on that hill. And maybe on the other side of the hill, I'm gonna have another tree over there, but very, very far away. We barely can see that. But it's gonna have some kind of triangle shape. So I'm gonna put some leaves on that too. And I can highlight with yellow this tree because that's far away. And that's what let me make it lighter. So this is my tree far away. Now kind of ready for the grass, I think. So grass, I will start from the darker blue right here. And I'm gonna make this intense color for my grass. The grass growing here will be more intense. And then I will use yellow on the top of it in some places. And by this Christmas tree, because it has a lot of yellow, I will use this green, which is we already have, and kind of outline a little path going to the mountain. So blue and that green creating this emerald interesting color for the green. The green can has different kind of shades of the green color. Same as the painting, even in the trucks. It still will be different shades of them. So, grass in the front. We kind of give our trees the support so that they can show that they grow from the surface of the earth, right? Like it's actually happens in the nature. That's what we want, right? And then I will do the heel. Like I said before, we can use the Crayola pencils and charts as the kind of horizontal layout cover for our picture. And this is easy to cover more space with that, and it gives us the lighter translucent surface. So I will cover that on the top with the lighter shade. I give some yellow in it, and it's gonna create that a layer we were working on hills before, sand dunes, so it creates the layer of this beautiful grass. And going farther, that's gonna be the even lighter color close to the sky over there. The lighter color, we need to get some green on the bottom hill over there. Which is I'm gonna cover with white on the top. So that's gonna leave us with that very, very light shade of kind of light green for this shape of the hill. Especially we have some trees there, so they're kind of all blending together. And then the lighter color will be over here for our last hill over here. It's gonna be very light. I'm gonna use some yellow for that. Some blue on the top, but very light. Intense, I can use the white over it, and if I use the white over this, that will be lighter again. So white, it's kind of the indicator of intensity of the color for your pastel. If you need something lighter, you just put some layer of white on it and it's make it disappearing to the sky. So this is our grass hills, and I want to do also the path over here with the light brown. Going farther to your heels, and I put some red on this because I want your path looks like trunks of the tree, so I want to add some other color in it, so just to give some variety to this path. And if you notice in the nature, the path is kind of dry surface, and it's usually lighter than you can see. There's dirt and some shadows between trees when the grass growing on it, so it's usually more browny looking. We're just using that light color for our path because it's all contained dry dirt and the people actually walk on it, so it's dry, really dry. And then on the bottom over here, when it's disappearing, we can actually add some blue on it, so make it a little bit purplish, because purple, it's a nice color to show how far things goes, because they kind of add some air in the color. White adds some translucence, and the blue and purple, they add some distance to the colors, so that's they don't have the distance for them going far away, a little path. And now I just need to fix my sky, and sometimes pastel chalks are getting dirty too, like any white color in painting. You can clean it with your finger or with your napkin, so it doesn't matter. Just keep it clean if you need it white. I need it white right here by the horizon for my sky. And that's important because I don't want the sky to be dark by horizon. I am gonna have some clouds in it. I should start them early, but that's okay. It's still not too late to do the clouds. You just leave basically for them some empty spots, like we did on our first picture. And then you color them with white and a little bit of yellow. The sunshine, I'll color them with some lights. We can do that later. So I want to fix a little bit our trunks because they kind of get faded a little bit, so that you can see them again. And again, I grow them from the bottom. You can even practice before you actually create the picture with the advanced drawing on it, like few trees and some composition. You can just create some sketch with the trees. Just practice on how you grow your tree, how it's growing, and what kind of branches it has, so that when you start your work, so you're not going to be upset that you didn't do the tree nicely, and it's going to discourage you from doing that. Just practice a few times, just a simple one tree, and then already create your composition. So, and then I will kind of a little bit give some hint, where is that tree growing. So I'm kind of recover my drawing, because under your pastel, when you're drawing with pastel, and some of the parts get empty with the color, because the color kind of come off from your picture, because you're working too intense on it, and pastel is just doesn't have that supportive substance to stay on your picture, so you have to fix that when you're done. So I will show you when we're done for the fixation what you can use. You basically can use your hairspray for that, but you have to put your hairspray with the distance, like maybe a foot, like that, so that's not gonna make your picture too wet, because that's gonna ruin your picture. So practice first before you actually decided to put some fixative on your picture. Practice with your first drawing of the tree, so then put it on your picture when you already finished that. On the finished picture, just keep it a little bit farther from your picture, so it's not gonna put too much of that fixative. It's the hairspray fixation for your hairs, can work very good for your picture made with a pastel. Don't put too much, just to keep your pastel on picture. That's not gonna start falling out. So this is my trees, and I also want to fix a little bit leaves on my tree. Just add some more up, but we don't have enough paper for that. They're just gonna go the very flexible way into the horizon, into the top of our picture. We can have some lighter leaves. You can always decide which particular tree you're doing, like oak tree or walnut tree. Depends on what you decided. That's how the branch is gonna look. I have like some sort of young oak tree, I guess, with the dark branch and dark trunk. You can if you want your tree to be a little bit more darker, you can add some few strokes of black. It's okay. I'm just gonna add some graphic kind of approach to your picture, make it more intense on color, but that's okay because it's close, so it can be intensive. The perspective will let you do it because it's the way how it works. The closer objects are more intense usually. This is our tree, and the other tree over here can have more branches inside the crown. And I want to use a little bit of blue for this tree, just to get more vivid color for this green. And then I put on the top again the green. So it's just gonna get this leaves have the more intense color and so it's not gonna be translucent. And this tree, I'm happy with the way how it looks. It's Christmas tree. And I have some going behind it, so I'll just add some color and just to add some intensity. And not too much because they're far away, so then you don't have to overdraw them so that they can pop in the front of your tree. So they're just gonna have that nice line behind that tree. And on the top of that hill, seems like it's not enough grass, and we can grow some more grass in it. Just like that. And that other hill right here can be more vivid too. Not too much, but a little bit more. And I want to add some shape for this tree. It's more triangle shape, but wide. Like a pyramid type. It's not too far away, so it's going to be still more intense in color. And then I'm kind of missing a little bit of color of sky, so we can add some sky color. Oh, that's black. Don't put black next to dark blue. This can ruin your picture because black is really hard to remove. I kind of want to put some blue around my trunk, so it's kind of give the outlining of the shape of this. So that it's not wide behind, so it's kind of create the composition of the nice sunny day. And eliminate that white paper color, which doesn't really goes well with the composition of our picture. Kind of distract the layers of our perspective going farther to horizon. When we get some blue, this time I didn't use the surface, I just used the top part of it, and then I will use some white to blend that. So the white color is also blender sometimes because it smooths your drawing and get the right intensity of the color. Just a little bit. Kind of too intense right here because it's close to horizon. We don't want that sky to be too intense. In between leaves a little bit too. So, but I think that it can be more blue. So I'm just gonna add some more blue in there. So blend the leaves and sky together. So you kind of look on the leaves through the sky. And the white. My white is here. So that intense blue help us to direct which direction our sky is going. So where's the lighter part, it's close to horizon, and where's the darker part, it's close to the top. And it's create a nice background for your tree. And in between over here, of course, between the branches here, we forgot about the sky too. Sometimes you can use the painting together with your pastel. For instance, you can make the sky with the blue color and the grass with the green, and use the pastel only for branches and details. That's going to be the mix technique, and we can do that maybe one of the time for our lesson, and I'll show you how to do it. Color of the blue for the horizon right here. We just need like really light blue there. And between sky and grass there on the back. So it's gonna kind of bring our heels closer, give them some shape. If you finish your horizon, that's what's gonna happen. So it's gonna give you grass more intensity in color, because it's not compared to the white anymore. The white is lighter, so then everything else will be different when it's compared to the white. So we just need a nice green there to show that field in a little bit more vivid colors. And with a little tint of yellow. Since it's a nice summer day and the sunshine is coloring everything in the bright, vivid colors. But this grass is here, it's more darker because it's closer. Here, it's even more darker because it's kind of in the shade of this tree. I just want to light a little bit the farther grass right here, so it's kind of not compete with the front row right here, so it's gonna be lighter, and this one is lighter, and with that trees are growing behind that tree. So we just need to fix their shapes a little bit. And this tree kind of lose a little bit shape, so we can add some blue in that just to repeat the shape. And this is the branch here. And this branch is kind of smaller than this one. Still have some shape, more roundy shape. This is our Christmas tree. There's the triangle shape. This one rounding. Still kind of wants to add a little bit of yellow in that, because most of the time the green leaves are green, but if they're far away from you, they start looking a little bit more bluish than greenish. Really, really tiny forest on the top of that hill right here. Can be more trees growing there, same as this one. Really, really far away. And this is our path, showing the interesting perspective goes farther behind the hills. And remember how I was talking about to make that grass around this quarter so that's gonna leave, don't leave the white spot. And I use a little bit of red for the path because it's drier dirt and people walk on it, so not that intense as the dirt under the trees, for instance. And just maybe add a little bit of leaves. Found, but make them a little bit more separated. And that's gonna create the front row for us. So that's, if we're just gonna make the balloon on top of that tree, that's not gonna be true because it's too close. It still deserves to have some leaves, which is almost so you can see them, because this tree is really close. And I think that it's time to stop because I don't want to overload this picture with a lot of colors because they start kind of falling. If you overdo it, you can get rid of extra pastel somewhere with like blowing the kiss on your picture. The air kiss. Then it's gonna kind of take the extra colors away from your pastel. And then we're gonna fix it with the hairspray. Let me get a still on spot. It's gonna smell nice. You can get the professional fixative for the graphic works and pastel works, but on the first time when you just practicing, you can do the hairspray, any hairspray, strong one better. So, and before we finish, I just want to kind of highlight what we learned today and what we were talking about. We were talking about the tree shapes, different type of tree shapes, and we were talking about how the tree grows from the, I'm gonna use the brush for this to show you how the branches are growing. They're growing from trunk on the bottom to the branches going to the sky. And the farther your tree, the lighter it's become, and the smaller and narrow the trunk become, and smaller branches after that. The farther the tree goes, and it's more it's become more simple and doesn't have too much details. That's how you show that the tree goes farther. So this tree over here, it has just a trunk and leaves on the top, and this kind of has tendency to be like a pyramid shape, a leaves crown. This is the Christmas tree right here. Any pine tree can be too. And I also have the support group behind the tree, and just to show how they, in perspective, they will be farther and lighter and more colder in color. So I use the dark blue and green for this. For this tree, I use the dark blue and yellow on the top of it. And for this tree, I use the green and blue. This one is more yellow and green. And this tree, the main tree I have over here, I use little strokes to show leaves on this tree because I don't want to just put one color on the top of this tree as a leaf, because this tree is closer to you, and that's why it deserves to have leaves on that. And what I use for the surface, I use the grass, and the grass in the front is darker because it has shadows from the tree, and then it's become lighter because it goes closer to horizon, and on horizon it's become even more lighter. And I also have that, if you can see, the little tiny group of trees over there, which is far away, and that's why they're so small and almost blue. Same thing I have with the little path goes farther away to the hills, and it's showing the perspective, how far away my forest going with the hills. So it goes far away and become little tiny going behind that hill. And also I use for the background, I use the sky, and you can also paint the sky if it's too hard for you to do between the branches the sky and you're afraid to ruin your picture. So basically the good idea just to paint that with the acrylic colors and put your trunk with the shades of greens or growing on the top of the branches or on the top of it. And also you can practice first on your tree and then make the picture like this with a few trees. Just practice on the branch, and don't forget to start with the trunk growing from your grass. Don't try to start with the crown, because you're not going to be able to put enough of this tree, and then it's just gonna kind of make the tree looks like that without trunk. And that's what we need to show the whole beauty of the tree. We need the nice structure of it. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy my lesson, and see you next time. Bye.